the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my need. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all was happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all was happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special
Pay attention. Look, I'm saying cut it.
And I was sitting here talking to the people on Facebook. I'm like, a song never plays all the way through on the intro on this show. Never. The first time in like 2.5 years I've seen the show go all the way through.
I just said that too. I was trying to get your attention at the time, but
Hey, I was waiting for you, but you didn't say that.
huh?
Hey, I was waiting for you.
He said he was waiting for you, but he never
never
gave a
responded.
thumbs down or nothing.
because I'm on my phone doing the Facebook, so I couldn't text you, so I couldn't do it.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
literally
yeah.
like standing in front. You ever see the Eddie Griffin joke when you stand and say, "Yo," the guy was down. Like I'm like, "Yo, cut it." You know. But listen, but it's all good. You know what I mean? Because it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That song. And give a shout out, man, because that's the original of the greatest. So if y'all never saw the movie, I suggest y'all go pick the movie up and go YouTube and look at the greatest with Muhammad Ali. That's the closest you want to get to his real life story. And he played himself. That's the best part about it. And that was in the 70s.
Oh, man.
Huh? So what's wrong?
Nothing. We good, G.
But listen, but that was by George Benson, and we just had a little short conversation, you know, these little off the cuff joints. But I was saying you can feel it, but when you watch that movie when Muhammad Ali was going through this training and running, you feel it. And what he was saying is like, you can never, he said, you can take everything, but you can't take my dignity. And today, cats let them take their dignity, even though they took everything from him. So they like, look, what the hell? And he was doing it at a time that it was crazy. You know, you talking about 66, 67, 70, like, come on, it was bad back then. We in 2016, cats can't even do that today. You know, but, you know, this is what it is. But that's why I said there would never be another person in that field like him, period.
Because he really wanted to, he didn't care about sacrificing it all to let the truth be told, you know. And you have to understand that not everybody's willing to do that. Not everybody's willing to sacrifice their paycheck in order to speak on injustice. So people who not willing to speak on that, you can't get mad at them because everybody's got a choice. You know, you got to decide, am I going to risk everything that I've built to speak for some people who may not even stand up for me and support me when I need them most? He did that regardless of what the outcome was going to be. So you got to commend that, you got to respect it. But for people who don't, you got to respect that decision too. But I agree, there'll never be nobody who, you know, stands on that platform and does that like the way he did it. He gave the blueprint. When people talk about elders and ancestors and all of these people and blueprints, he was the blueprint.
Exactly. He did it in his prime. Mind you, if you go back and look at it, he was only in his 20s, mid-20s, doing that at that time frame, in his prime. You know, so again, I don't even see cats doing that today, man. Honestly, it ain't gonna happen. And like I said, I always been a Malcolm fan. I've been a Muhammad Ali's fan since I was 15, 16 years old. And they said Muhammad Ali was a traveling minister at one time. But I'm gonna play something for everybody and listen to what he talks about with these athletes, man, and even talking about going into the military. Let me say this before this is a straight tribute to Muhammad Ali. And they said that he didn't even have to serve like person would serve in the military. He just had to walk around and do exhibitions and carry, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to. But what happens, cats don't get it. If they would have got him to join the military, what happened, he said you would have got the rest of the so-called Negroes or blacks in there. You follow me? So, again, it wasn't just his boxing, even though I love his boxing. But it wasn't that. It was his speaking. And they didn't love Muhammad Ali until he couldn't speak anymore. You follow me?
Yeah, you know, I don't hear people neglect is that, you know, when you see, for example, the eulogy. For example, everybody was up in arms about, you know, Clinton doing the eulogy. But you got to remember, you know, he couldn't talk no more. And so there was a report that said that, hey, you know, he made these plans for, you know, his ceremony 2 years ago. I got to respect it if that's what they say, but somehow I fail to believe that he would let somebody like Clinton speak at his service. You know, knowing Clinton's history, knowing, you know, what they did to black people, you know what I'm saying, as far as the three-strike system and all of the laws and all of the people that went to jail under his administration, I find it hard to believe that he chose this man to come out and speak.
He ain't do that, bro.
I mean, the family report came out. The family came out and said that these was his wishes. So on a certain level, you got to respect what the family is saying. But when you look at all of his speeches, when you look at all of the interviews, you can't convince me that that's the same man who made these same plans. Either that or he was totally unaware, which I find, again, hard to believe, of Clinton's administration and all of the stuff that they did.
Listen, we only have one person left. that may, and I'm pretty sure his is going to be tight, Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's the last of the last that's really speaking up. And really, and again, when people pass, like I said, if we don't keep it up, Elijah Muhammad be Caucasian soon. You're going to have Muhammad Ali. He might be Caucasian. Do you see how they made Malcolm X a civil rights leader when he passed? But Malcolm X wasn't talking about civil rights. He was talking about human rights.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So when these people are gone, this is what they do, because you have charlatans everywhere. But listen, I got an interview, and I said this is a tribute. We're going to play majority of Muhammad Ali's great speeches, and y'all be the judge of all of this. Y'all be the judge. But listen, let's go into this next piece. When Muhammad Ali was talking about going to war, listen to this clearly. This is I think this is in late '69. Ready?
And then suddenly the matter goes to the Pentagon, because you were then Cassius Clay, you were Muhammad Ali, but you were a famous figure, and suddenly you, the man who'd failed 2 tests, were past A1. Is that true? Is that how it
Well,
happened?
yes, they said I was mentally deficient or something, because I didn't pass my tests
Yeah,
twice.
but tell me about those tests.
One,
I mean, were they hard?
one test was in Miami. Old test like if you had 15 apples and you sold 2 1/4 of these apples, and 3/3 of these apples was destroyed, how many do you have left? I don't know the answer. I barely got through school. I'm not really a good reader nor a good speller. You have a time limit on all the tests, and most of them I just guessed because I was too embarrassed to say I couldn't read the test that quick.
Yes.
So they had psychiatrists, 2 psychiatrists came from Washington, D.C., took me to Kentucky, and they examined me to see if I was joking. And they found that the same test the last one corresponded with the first one. So then this is still when I was Cassius Clay and a Christian. But after the Islamic, the Muslim faith was pronounced that I had joined, and the name Muhammad Ali, then all of a sudden I became wise. Then they lowered the standard that anybody who made at least 18 on their test, which was awful low, must go to the Army. Well, this got me, see.
Yeah. Now, did they do this because of you, do you think?
Well, I really don't know. It's hard to believe that such a powerful government in a country like America will change a whole system just to get one black man in service.
You'd only have to say one thing in this country, and you could be back in boxing tomorrow.
Yes, but I don't know. I don't think I'd have to say that. Many reasons could probably get me back. Number one, first, my case would have to be throughout, draft case. If they don't do that, I'll probably have to do 4 or 5 years in prison. And then if I come out then, if I'm in shape, then I can consider it. But as of now, money means nothing to me, nor boxing, when it comes to the freedom of your people. So everything I'm doing, if it means hitchhike tomorrow, if it means be raggedy, if it means look for a job, I'll be happy, because I can go to bed, my conscience is clear, and I didn't sell out or trade my people just because I could be rich in Hollywood with a yacht out here on that could be my yacht right there. Imagine it's valued at $200,000, but I wouldn't want that damn yacht if I couldn't go back over in the black neighborhood and protest a black woman being raped. The hell with the yacht, the hell with the championship. So I want the people to know this, you understand? The Muslims did not find me. Elijah Muhammad, God don't need me, I need him. I couldn't talk to you a few years ago when I was in England the first time on these subjects, because I wasn't not a Muslim. I didn't have the wisdom that I have now. So if you noticed, when you talk to me, when they do interviews with me, they're not the interviews that you do with boxers. Boxers usually don't talk. And all they can tell you is he ran 5 miles yesterday, or got good left jab, I'm not that type of Negro, black man, you understand?
Yes.
See, the questions they asked me on interviews and in colleges is the same thing or more complicated than you would ask the Queen of England or President Nixon or some senator politician. So I would say that I'm awful happy, because what I'm doing now, I feel to be much greater than boxing. Well, naturally, I went to a Muslim meeting here in 1960. And I heard the truth. I heard the real truth that Christianity don't teach. I saw people not smoking, thousands of them. I saw them not drinking, not committing adultery, not fornicating, praying 5 times a day, bathing twice a day, in unity, putting up their own schools, their own factories, their own radio shows, their own newspapers. One man, Elijah Muhammad, runs his own nation here in America. Yeah. Converts black people, cleans up sissies, prostitutes, homosexuals, make men and women out of them. The right Christian scientists admitted, the prisons, the FBI, Muslims under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad are the most cleanest, the most unified, the most respected black people in America. And everything that black people are doing today, black and I'm proud, black culture, black history, black schools, all of this come from Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm X, Eldridge Cleaver, Huey Newton, Rap Brown, all the so-called militant heroes today used to be followers of his until they got violent and broke loose. But everything in America today of black, of progress, come from Elijah Muhammad. And when I heard it, I had to accept it because it was the truth.
I'm your blood and your flesh. White people are not your brothers.
Yo, welcome back, everybody. Listen, y'all can chime into the show, 323-965-1600. Again, 323-965-1600. And you know what's so deep about this, Chalky? I can bear witness to exactly everything he just said. Everything he just said. There is no other group. And this is even when I told you about me growing up, about studying Malcolm since I was 15 years old. I left school in 11th grade. If you put me on any platform, I can talk to the best of the best. I didn't have to go to your schools, your militaries, and none of that because I stood on principles. And that's what the nation was. But what happened, again, when you're around certain people, sometimes you drift, you know, and I drifted back in the street. You know what I mean? But what happens, you go right back home again. You see what I'm saying? So I understand what this brother was, where he was coming from. And then you have to remember, again, we talking about the time frame. We're talking about the time frame. None of this stuff matters. You can't, you know, jump on a train and go back into your hood. Majority of these cats can't do that. They can't do that today.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I said he's the greatest. It's not because his boxing, it's because of what he was talking about. How he didn't talk it, he lived it. And he said what he wanted to say when you stuck the mic in front of his face on no matter what show it was. So again, when he couldn't talk, everybody was, Ali was a humanitarian. Muhammad Ali was for, no, man. And actually, there's another clip that when Muhammad Ali was talking about the, do we hate white people? This is what he talked about. He said, I hate nobody. But he talked about the actions of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Recently, I just saw a video of a Somalian talking about Muhammad Ali. Let me tell you about coming up in the Nation of Islam, but we're going to go back to some more speeches of Muhammad Ali. But y'all can give us a call in the studio. It was Somalian that I just happened to scan through a video, and I saw her talking about escaping Somalia, and she grew up as a Muslim, and now she's a Christian, and how she said, I'm probably the only person in America that hate Muhammad Ali. That's what she said, right? Because he traded one slave master in for another slave master, an Arab slave master. This is what she said, without understanding the background of Muhammad Ali. Let me share this with y'all listening audience for y'all that don't know. And people may have been, and I was young at that time frame in the nation. I was basically a teenager, just coming into my teens. In the Nation of Islam, in the 80s, mid 80s, we used to stand up and make salat. We didn't make salat bowing down at one time. We made salat standing up because Elijah told us not to prostrate the way we prostrate. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't until later then everybody started doing that. So when people, and Elijah never said we was one of them over there, an Arab Muslim. He said we were Muslim, but we are the original Muslims. The original, not these pale-faced people. So when she said that, I said she must didn't do her background. She said he took his name, Cassius Clay, which Clay is an Irish name for people to understand that. They have to study Irish. And actually this book, if you study this, these names, McDonald's, McDouglas's, McDouglas's, this actually his name. But how do you know he was a slave? You follow me? So how do we know he was a slave? So these are the things we have to do. And they throwing it out there. She ran from her hometown of Somalia. I think she says she's in Switzerland or something like that. But she's on trying to down Muhammad Ali. But again, hey man, listen, I'm telling you, they just as lost. They just as lost, brother, over there. And they're the worst. And they always trying to down us over here when we know what we go through over here. And that's why, again, I respect what Muhammad Ali did. And cats today need to start standing up and being the same way he was. But again, they don't have the two bouquets, like I say, the two balls and the cane to do it. I'll do it in a heartbeat. Anybody know me, I get on a train, I may catch buses. You may see me walking. You may see me in the worst neighborhoods when I go home. None of this stuff means nothing to me. Why? It's because the teachings that was in the Nation of Islam at that time frame. You don't see me walking with an army. They asked Muhammad Ali this question: do you have bodyguards? One thing, Muhammad Ali, he broke down a law and told you that that was his bodyguard. Allah was his bodyguard. He don't need bodyguards. See what I'm saying? So again, you don't have like celebrities today speaking the way he said. Even people who have 9-to-5 jobs won't walk off their job from a $30,000 job.
Right. A lot of people won't. You know, a lot of people are afraid to do that because they are uncertain about what comes after that. You know, okay,
exactly.
Cool, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to make this loud speech and I'm going to say all of this stuff, but then what happens after that? So then when you know that you can't do it, and this is why I take the approach, I don't look for a celebrity to say nothing for me or for people who look like me. Because if you live by example, you never know who you are giving a light to. You never know who you're motivating by just living your own life and standing on your square. You know, exactly. So when people say, oh man, this celebrity didn't say what I wanted them to say, why don't you say it? If you're not brave enough to say it, don't look for somebody else to be brave enough to say it. In order to walk this walk, in order to live like this, you have to have courage. That courage has to be unyielding. You have to be ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of speaking the truth and letting it be known. And it's a lot of people who just want to read books and they want to tell you what's in this book and what page you can find it on. But what is that going to do for you when people...
If you're not living it.
If you're not living it, what is that going to do for you? What is that going to do for people who meet you and you read all of these books, but at the end of the day, you're still ignorant?
But you know what's so chalky? Let me tell you some real life stuff. Someone asked me, would I invest in my children's college? I said I would invest in their future. See how the comeback would be that quick. They said, would you allow your sons? And I remember one of my sons saying he would go in the military, but he ain't thinking about it now. I said I told you when you were young I would shoot you in your leg. This is just the comebacks of me. Now they say, well, that's wrong, Sabir. No, it's not. It's right. My thing is like, why would you fight for something that you can fight for right here? Right here. And again, it's a sacrifice. It's like, and I sacrifice. I'm telling, listen, he said 30 years. I don't know how far people study it. I mean, him. But he said 30 years of his life was wasted. That's what he said. It was, he was talking about. But it was basically because of the Parkinson, I believe. But when I look at my life, I sit back and I don't regret not one moment. Even though I went through the same thing, the sacrifice and not doing this, but I always knew it was something in me. And that was still the Nation of Islam's teachings that I had at that time frame. Like, yo, it is what it is. I know my purpose. You see what I'm saying? But everybody has to find their purpose, but they'll keep you busy because you don't know what your purpose is. Now somebody's going to put you to work because they know what their purpose is. And that's how it goes.
Another reason people can't find their purpose is because they haven't been properly educated. And when I say properly educated, I'm not talking about in some European school where they forcing propaganda and their ideology down your throat. I'm talking about a history of your people that all that encompasses that, because as much as people don't want to address these things, there are Moors, there are Hebrew Israelites, there are Pan-Africans, there are all of these different vehicles that are out here. And you have to respect on a certain level and study all of these in order to find your purpose. Because inside of one of these ideologies, inside one of these vehicles is your purpose. And if you look hard enough, you may see your purpose in all three of these. You just have to find out which one resonates with you the most. And that's but when people don't study these things, when people don't look at history with an unobjective eye, then you miss out on what your purpose could be because you're so focused on the title that you see first. You know what? I think I'll pass on that.
And this is why you notice when people say call me professor or doctor, no, I don't like none of that stuff. I am just a bey. That's good enough. And then when I got into this Moorish information, it even took it to a whole nother level. You see what I'm saying? So like you said, you can find something in all of that.
Right.
And when I got into this, it made me start studying etymology, the etymon, or the real history. You see what I'm saying? So it's there. It didn't come from a university. It came from our people. Right. So listen. We're going to go to some more speeches of Muhammad Ali. What do we have next? I think he said something about the age in there, right? Brother Zulu. It's we're going to take this what? I think it's like 6.
Hey. So check this out. We have one if he hates white people. I don't know if you want to play that. Or we also have famous speeches about God's existence. And then we also
one before that. It was one before the just before the one I sent you. It was Little Boy Talking. And he was talking about how people talk about getting old. I think it was just before that. And he was speaking about age and how we live to be 80 years old. and he was speaking about it, and he was talking about. He said, "What did you do in 7 years?" It's just before that one, before you got it. Give us a minute, y'all. We're gonna come right back.
Well, while he doing that, give us a call, 323-965-1600, 323-965-1600. Also, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, donating to the show, you know, and people don't sometimes fully grasp, you know, how important it is. And me and Sabir talk often about, you know, people have all of these grand ideas and people have all of these comments about what you should do with your platform. But it takes money to do these things. You know, when you're talking about building, when you're talking about putting out your own propaganda, when you're talking about having your own platform, that takes money. Now, we put into this, you know, I give my money, you know, Sabir gives his money. Other people, you know, they give their money, and we tell people $1 is fine. You know, that's $1 less than we have to put up ourselves. And it's not that we don't mind putting it up, but we have to start grooming ourselves to the point that we have to do more than just say, you know, hey, I like what you're doing. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what we're doing, if you like the information, donate. You know, and
exactly. I think we got it. I think Sharky, I think we have it, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna jump into this video and then we'll get back to our commentary.
Any white woman in this audience today, any white man in this audience today, in their right minds, don't want little black boys and little black girls coming around your homes, schools, and churches looking to marry your sons and daughters, and in return introducing your grandchildren as little half-brown, kinky-head Negro children. No intelligent black man in this audience, no intelligent black woman in this audience want little white boys and little white girls coming to marry their sons and daughters, and in return introducing your grandchildren as little half-white, green-eyed, blonde-haired Negroes. We're not seeking to lose our identity in blood mixing and our beautiful black African history. We don't hate you. We don't hate those of you who are white. We just want to stay black. We love my color. I just love myself.
Because let me tell you something. If you have any colleges here where black people go to college, have an assembly or something and watch and see all the Jamaicans, all the Trinidadians, the West Indians. They're just naturally human together. Everybody likes to do his own. You see some bluebirds going this way, red birds flying this way. They might get all mixed up, but they'll all come out together. And you see the tigers with the tigers, the monkeys with the monkeys, the lions with the lions, the giraffes with the giraffes. They're all animal cats, but they got different hangouts. You see the eagles over here, the pigeons over here, the buzzards over here, the all type bluebirds, the red birds, the owls. They're all the birds, but they got different little cultures. You got your English talking, your English food, and you and the man in Germany are both brothers, but your cultures are different. You and the man in Russia are even more different yet. I was in Zaire, home of my brothers, but the food and the way they talk, the way they dance, I'm not home till I get back to Harlem to the brothers. Yeah, baby, I can't stand it. Yeah, see, so you understand? So ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be with your own kind. What's wrong with me wanting to be with my kind?
People to move in the neighborhoods, we clean their own neighborhoods. And another thing, when you say integration, it comes under intermarriage too, right? All been together.
Right, sure.
And I'm sure no intelligent white person watching this show, or no intelligent white man in his or her right white mind want black boys and black girls marrying their white sons and daughters, and in return introducing their grandchildren as half-brown, kinky-haired black people.
I wouldn't object to that.
Well, you wouldn't, but a lot of them would.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people know. This is the point.
What I'm trying to say is this. And you don't have it. You say you don't, but you don't have it. You really ain't going to have it. You're on the show, and you got to say that. But
that's not true.
Why would you want to do that?
Because I don't think I'm any different from you, you see.
Yeah, we're much different.
I mean, I think society's made us different.
You know we're different. We're all together.
But society's made us different.
No, not society. God made us different.
No, we're just human beings. He made all of us.
We all, listen, bluebirds fly with bluebirds, red birds want to be with red birds. Listen, tell me when I'm wrong. Pigeons want to be with pigeons. Tell me when I'm wrong. We should have more. They don't have intelligence, but yet they stay together. We should have more intelligence than them, right? Buzzards are with buzzards. Buzzards are with buzzards. Bluebirds with bluebirds. They all are birds, but they got different cultures. The eagles like to hang out in the mountains. The buzzard like to fly around the desert.
Well,
the bluebird like to fly around the trees and the
There'd be certain
grass.
problems, a buzzard mating with a sparrow, wouldn't there?
What?
There'd be certain...
Right. And we have the problems too.
No,
I don't see no black and white couples in England or America walking around proud holding their children.
That's because society...
And going out.
That's society's fault. I mean, we've got to educate people around it.
Well, life is too short for me to be catching hell for something like that. I'd rather go and be my own. I have a beautiful daughter, beautiful wife. They look like me. We're all happy, and I don't have no trouble. I have no trouble. I ain't that much in love with no woman to go through all that hell. Ain't no one woman that good. You understand?
I understand, yeah. I do understand. I understand. I think it's sad that
it ain't sad because I want my child to look like me. Every intelligent person wants his child to look like him. I'm sad because I want to blot out my race and lose my beautiful identity. Chinese love Chinese. They love the little slanted-eyed, pretty brown-skinned babies. Pakistanis love their culture. Jewish people love their culture. A lot of Catholics don't want to marry number Catholics. They want the religion to stay the same. Who want to spot up yourself and kill your race? You a hater of your people if you don't want to stay who you are. You shame what God made you. God didn't make no mistake when he made us all like we were.
I think that's a philosophy of despair.
Despair.
I really do.
It ain't no despair.
Number
one, can't no woman. Let me tell you something. I want to tell you. Listen, no woman on this whole earth, not even a black woman in Muslim countries, can please me and cook for me and socialize and talk to me like my American black woman. No woman, and last is a white woman, can really identify with me and my feelings and the way I act and the way I talk. And you can't take no Chinese man and give him no Puerto Rican woman and holler about we're in love and you emotionally in love and physically, but really they're not happy because she's going to hear some Puerto Rican music, he's going to hear some Chinese music. And they're going to be clashing all the time. It's just nature. You can do what you want, but it's nature to want to be with your own. I want to be with my own. I love my people.
Are we back on?
And man, I was telling them I talk about this forever.
Yes, but it's real. It's real what he just said though. But it's, again, the stuff that people hear of they haven't even heard Malcolm speak like that. So again, they keep romanticizing what he was about. They didn't like him when he was alive, and that they didn't like him. So again, I look at all of this and I want to see, and this is a call out to all these athletes, entertainers, rappers, whoever you are. I want to see you stand your ground. I just told y'all my experience being, and I'm going to say this again with D.L. Hughley. He tried to say about me wearing a SWAT sticker. It's my sticker. It's mine. It's from Ethiopia. But he said my manager. That was enough said. Already knew what it was when he said that to me. What do you think he was talking about? Oh, it was a Jew. That's what he was trying to tell me without telling me. You follow me?
Yeah. And going back to what Ali said, it's threatening to other people when they see black people together and enjoying things and excluding them. Because when you exclude them, they start to think, well, if he could do this without us, what else can he do without us?
What else can he do? Exactly.
We got to cut this off. So, again, it's not about hate. It's about being with your own people. Because at the end of the day, let's say it's me, a European, an Asian, and an Arab, and we out together. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that all of us are friends, quote. At the end of the day, after we talk about sports, what else do we have in common other than who we may like as far as athletes go? We don't hold the same political views. We don't look at the culture the same. We don't look at the society the same. We don't look at the pecking order of how we're respected the same. So what is there for us to talk about? What other reason is there for us to get together?
Yeah, that's true.
But when you say that, because we have to say these things, because we have to plant these seeds. Asians don't have to say this. Arabs don't have to say this. The European doesn't have to say this. They just know, hey, every now and then, you can mingle with those people. But for the most part, you stay home. You stay with the people who look like you. We've been ingrained to do the total opposite. So now we have to come out and say, listen, I want to make it known that I feel comfortable just hanging out with people who look like me. And then people say, oh, that's racism. You're a racist.
Exactly.
I'm not a racist. I am socially selective, just like you are. And
hold
there's
up,
nothing wrong.
Hold up. But Chalky, why can't you be racist? Because you love your race. You could be.
Well, see, this is my argument with that. I got you. This is my argument with that. When people say you're racist, they say, oh, it's when you look up the word racist, it means that you think that your people are better than other people. No, see, that's the problem. I don't think. I've studied. But my counter argument is I don't think anything. I've read books and I can give you actual facts that show you that our people are better than you. So there's a difference. So I can't be racist because I'm not thinking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put out all of these facts. I'm going to go into history and pull out all of these artifacts, all of this agriculture, all of these inventions, and I'm going to show you that we are way more advanced than you will ever be. And the only way for you to keep yourself in this position is to have all of these different vehicles that are made to keep us in a position to where you can dominate a society. So you have to make a choice on what you're going to support and what you're going to allow into your life.
Yo, give us a call, y'all. 323-965-1600. 323-965-1600. Give us a call. Tell us what your views are. But listen, how many athletes, entertainers you heard today recanted every story, everything that they said about somebody? Did Ali ever recant anything that he said about anybody or what he was saying?
Not that I know of.
And you know what's so deep about this boxing thing? Nope, he hasn't, right? Now, he's the only athlete that retired. He had 3 homes, sold a business, and with his wife. How many athletes you know is like that or entertainers like that today? Retired from the sport, 3 homes, and his wife, and had a business that he sold. I forgot for how many $1 million. Let's be real. Name some.
It's a few athletes. None of them are, highly, respected, quote unquote, through the masses. But I know there are a few basketball celebrities, who there's actually one, and I forget the brother's name, but he builds houses, and he lets single mothers with children move into those houses. I also know the guy who used to be
okay. Let me rephrase it a different way. Have they spoken out like Muhammad Ali?
I'm going to say no, but I'm also going to say that I don't think that you're going to see those kinds of people get those platforms anymore.
There you go. But you could get it because you have to create it. You know the funniest thing? You know the funniest thing? I was talking to brother Chris. We're going to go to some more stuff with Muhammad Ali. Give us a call, y'all. We only got, a couple more minutes, or a half an hour?
Yeah.
But I was talking to my brother Chris, Amadeus Christ, we did Out of Darkness with, and he was talking about that World Star. I said, brother, don't worry about going to World Star. You create your own platform. World Star is really doing our people danger. Because why would you try to get over there? I said, create your own. We have the platform.
You know what the worst part is about World Star is that World Star will run. The worst part about that is they will run something and it'll be heartwarming. It'll be like something like, man overcome, black man overcomes, all of these odds, and he does these great things. And then they'll show you niggas fighting in the alley. Like, what are you doing? What is the purpose here? It would be different if you were teetering the line, because when you're growing, you do that. Some things you still indulge in, even though you know that, it's not the best thing for you to indulge in, but you're growing. So you know that at some point that's going to taper off and it's going to, fall by the wayside. How long has that,
bro? That was before this show started. Stop. They've been doing this before this show started.
So then you have to look. At, what is the purpose? Is it just for attention? Are you really trying to give us something to make us better, or are you just trying to get the money that you can get from us and keep it pushing?
That's it. But that's all it is. But listen, give us a call in the studio. We're gonna go back into some more speeches on Muhammad Ali. 323-965-1600. Here's your opportunity to spread your wings. All right, let's go back into this. Some more speeches of my brother Muhammad Ali, the greatest.
I'd like to know what you're going to do when you retire from boxing.
I think he's probably taking the last count at the moment. I'll do my best to wake him up for
sleep. That's all I'm going to do.
That's all he wants to do when he retires.
Now, when I retire from boxing, I really don't know. I want to say something right here. This might make you all think. Life is not really long. Let's say the average person, 30 years old.
If you're 30 years old, you are not but about 7 years old. How can I prove it? Add up all the 7, 8, 9 hours you slept for 30 years. Out of 30 years, add up all the nights, last night when you went to bed and woke up this morning, you don't remember a thing. You've been unconscious for about 8 years. If you're 30 years old, you slept about 8 years. Okay. How much traveling have you done in 30 years? From the television station to home, to another country, to another city, to school, to church. You've probably traveled 2 years your life was spent just getting back and forth to where you're going. So there's 8 years of sleeping, 2 years of traveling. There's 30 years out of your life before you accomplish anything. How long do you sit in school? In America, we stay in school from the 12th grade to, from the 1st grade to 12th grade. Same here?
Yeah, virtually.
6 hours a day?
Yeah.
6 hours a day for 12 years, break it down, you sat in a classroom for 3 years without leaving. Okay, 2 years of traveling, 8 years of sleeping, 3 years of school. How many movies have you went to? How many wrestling matches? How much entertainment? How many movie theaters, live plays, baseball games? Probably 2 years of entertainment. So by the time a man, you older people know him, bear witness what I'm saying, by the time you have children, by the time you have made a way for your children, by the time you've paid for your home, you're pushing 60 years old. So life is real short. So you add up all your traveling, add up all your sleeping, add up all your school, add up all your entertainment, you've probably been half your life doing nothing. So what am I? I'm 35 years old. 30 more years, I'll be 65. We don't have no more influence. We can't do nothing much at 65. Your wife will tell you that. So what I'm saying, when you're 65, ain't too much more to do. So did you know I'll be 65 in 30 more years? In those 30 years, I have to sleep 9 years. I don't have 30 years of daylight. I have to travel back to America, take 6, 7 miles. All my traveling, probably 4 years of traveling in the next 30 years, about 9 years of sleeping, television, movies, entertainment, about 3 years of entertainment. Out of 30 years, I might have about 16 years to be productive. So it's how we can all break individual lives down. What am I going to do in the next 16 years? What's the best thing I can do? Get ready to meet God.
Damn.
Owning real estate, going in business, teaching boxers, that won't get me to heaven. How many here believe there's a supreme being, believe there's a God? How many believe there's some power that made the sun, the moon, the stars? How many believe that this stuff didn't just come out here? Somebody wiser than us made it. How many believe there's a God? How many believe there's not a God? All right. Believe there's not a God. All right. If I told you, you who don't believe in God, if I told you that this glass sprang into existence, this glass made itself, no man made this glass, would you believe it? Would you believe I just told you this thing made itself?
No.
No. When I tell you, you wouldn't believe it, right?
No, somebody's doubting it, yeah, so I'm giving you the answer. That's
she wouldn't believe it. If I told her this television station popped into existence, it just, no man made it, you said Muhammad Ali's crazy. All right. Well, if this glass can't make itself, if I told you those clothes you have on wove themselves, nobody created them, those clothes made themselves, you wouldn't believe it. But if your clothes didn't make itself, if that glass couldn't make itself, if this building didn't make itself, then how did the moon get out there? How did the stars and Jupiter, Neptune and Mars and the sun, how did nature, how did all this come here if didn't know why is something planning to make it? So what I'm saying is, I believe we're going to be judged. Should a man like Hitler kill all the Jews and get away with it? Somebody should punish him. Maybe he get it, don't get it now, he get it when he died. In hell for eternity. So what I'm going to do when I get out of boxing is to get myself ready to meet God, because my plane might blow up. Don't planes blow up in this country sometime and crash? Don't people die every day?
Not every day.
It's a scary thing to think that I'm going to hell to burn eternally forever. So what am I going to do? Reason I'm taking I'm explaining what you asked me a question. You ask me questions I can't just answer like that. When I get out of boxing or when I'm through, I'm going to do all I can to help people. That's why I'm here with Johnny Walker. Here's a poor man, came all the way to America. Here's a bunch of boys need some money, and somebody is calling me to help them. God is watching me. God don't praise me because I beat Joe Frazier. God don't give nothing about Joe Frazier. God don't care nothing about England or America as far as your wealth is all his. He wants to know, how do we treat each other? How do we help each other? So I'm going to dedicate my life to using my name and popularity, helping charities, helping people, uniting people, bring people bumming each other because of religious beliefs. We need somebody in the world to help us make peace. So when I die, if there's a heaven, I want to see it. Because we live how long? 80 years? The odds are everybody in this room, some of you are going to be dead 20 years from now, some of you are going to be dead 50 years from now, some are going to be dead 30, some are going to be dead 60, 70 years from now. We all going to die soon. And if you live to be, say, 125 years old, which we don't do, right? Let's say we live to be 250, and you can have sex for 145 of those years. You're going to come to the end after that. So we don't have but about 80 years on earth. This is a test to see where will we spend our life in heaven and hell. This is not the life now. Your real self is inside you. Your body gets old. Some of you go to look at the fridge, you don't have no teeth. Your hair is leaving you. Your bodies get tired. But your soul and your spirit never die. That's going to live forever. So your body is just housing your soul and spirit. So God is testing us on how we treat each other, how we live, to see where our real home be in heaven. So this physical stuff don't last for so long. So my car, this building is going to be here when the man who built it dead. There have been many kings and queens of England. They're all dead. After this one is gone, another one will come. So we don't stay here. We're just trustees. We don't own nothing. Even your children are not yours. If you think I'm lying, your wife is not yours. You die and come back a year later and go slip in your bedroom and see if your wife is by herself. See, you don't own your wife. You don't own I divorced my wife. You may have read about it. And my 4 children, they call another man daddy now. They don't see me no more. You don't own your children. You don't own your family. So what am I saying? The most important thing about life is what's going to happen when you die. Are you going to go to heaven or hell? And that's eternity. How long is eternity? Let's imagine. Take the Sahara Desert. There's a lot of sand on the Sahara Desert, right? Then imagine that 1 grain of sand represents 1,000 years, and when you're in hell burning, when you die and go to hell, you're going to burn forever and ever and ever, no end. How long is that? Give you an idea how long eternity is. Take the Sahara Desert, and I told you to wait 1,000 years. And every 1,000 years, I want you to pick up a grain of sand until the desert is empty. Okay, wait 1,000 years, pick up the first grain.
Now, yo, listen. He said a lot in there. In Islam, they say it's what you did while you were here. This is why I said, right now, people say, well, who is Marvin Hagler? And I just said to a brother earlier today, I said, who's Marvin Hagler? Unless you're a boxing fan, you would know who Marvin Hagler is. Right. Unless you a real ball player, you would know who Irvin Magic Johnson is, or Doc in Philly, right? If you look at all the athletes, you're going to forget about them in about 20 more years. If you 5, you ain't going to know who Michael Jordan is. You ain't going to know. Look at the history. You know who Malcolm is. You're going to know who Muhammad Ali is. You're going to know who Minister Farrakhan is. So it's like what you do while you were here, because this is not yours. And this is, again, why I love the teachings that was in Islam, because it was showing you that this is not mine. Muhammad Ali had a saying. He said, your service, and Brother Mel Jackson, my brother Mel, y'all know him from Soul Food, you know, he said, our service is what we give to others. So Muhammad Ali said, the service on earth is your service is your rent on earth. If I said it right, your service to others is your rent on earth. So what service are you giving to others? That's what he was talking about. If you listen to everything he was talking about in there. But again, you would never have nobody else like that again.
And I agree. You know, you're probably not from a celebrity standpoint going to see anything like that again. But you are everything that you look for in other people. Start with the person in the mirror. Start at home. Start in your community.
Exactly.
Everybody has a voice. People always think that, oh, well, my voice isn't enough. Your voice is always enough when you use it.
Exactly.
People listen to you, and when it comes from you, it's somebody that they trust, so they take it more. You see somebody on TV, you don't know what they do when the camera not on them.
Ooh,
Ain't no camera
I've been
on
around
you.
it.
People
I've
know
been around
you.
it, bro.
People know you. People know the real you. This is why, I always been outspoken. I always been confrontational. So when people see me talk and they know me, they knew me from when I was in school, they knew me from when I was in the military, it ain't that far-fetched. A lot of them is shocked because I was, such a diverse person. You would catch me with, certain groups of people if we was out in the town or what have you. But you are everything that you look for in other people. Be yourself. Be you and do what you want to do. Be true to yourself. And when you true to yourself, other people will recognize it and they'll respect you and they'll listen more because they know you intimately. It's not he's a celebrity. Maybe I should listen to what he got to say. It's going to be like, nah, I know you. We done been through situations together. We done had heartfelt conversations. So when you telling me something, I know you're not telling me something just because somebody slid you a check. I know this is genuine. I know you're not going to tell me something that's going to set me up for failure or that's going to hurt me later on.
And you know what's funny about that? Why you say that? People look at me that way. It's like, you know me. You know I'm the same way on here and off of here. Right. That's just me. But I've been around people, I am not even going to say no names, and these cats is not who they say they are. I'll be like, you just set up there and said X, Y, and Z. Really?
Yeah.
Remember, and shout out to my man Eddie Griffin, man. I love that brother. He said when Al Sharpton was talking all this crazy stuff, he said, I caught him in the bar with me tossing it up, and you trying to talk about me. And he called him a perm head hypocrite. You remember that? That part in one of his joints called, I can't think of the name of the stand-up, but he called him a perm head hypocrite. Because you have these types of people. They're not genuine. They just getting a check. So again, I could have been in positions that I could have said, man, the hell with all this stuff. I'm going over here and forget the people. Right. I'm going over here. It's because of the people I'm around in my circle that keeps it 100 and keep me focused on what I'm doing. I can run down a list of names of people who are celebrities and say, yo, brother, keep doing what you're doing. I'm with you, but this is what you should look out for. Not even just the celebrities, because we all celebrate. So we all celebrities. Let's look at that for real. We all are celebrities. But even the brothers that I have in the Nation of Islam, when they pulled me to the side before I started doing radio, I've been doing this for 14 years. They would say, brother, look out for this. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just celebrities saying watch out. It's people, your circle. They don't say, well, Sabir, you should try this weed, or Sabir, you should try this drink. One person tried that in Atlanta one time. It was a sister. Oh, no lie. This is a true story. She would say, oh, one drink ain't gonna kill you, Sabir. I said, I'm done. Me and that person have not talked since maybe 8 years ago. We don't talk.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to test me to see if I would drink. And that's those are the people that you don't want to be around. Right. You don't want to be around those people that try to tempt you to do something just to see. You're not going to get me to fall up off my square. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of us have to realize that, but they don't understand my upbringing.
Well, first you have to figure out what your square is. And that's just like finding your purpose, because once you find it, then you'll know what your limitations are. And that's how you begin to weed out the people who you don't really need in your life. Because once you figure out your square, once you figure out your purpose, anybody who comes into your area and they start to bring in negative energy, or they start to try to counteract what your purpose is or what your end result is, you know how to cut them off, and you know why you're cutting them off. And as you continue to grow, they'll realize that it wasn't personal, but in order for me to keep growing and not to backslide or to not get taken off my square, I have to separate myself from you.
And there you go. And that's what I had to do. But listen, before we go into this next one, like Muhammad Ali said, only thing you do is prepare to meet the maker. When I got shot 5 times, I was preparing to meet him because I was ready to go. I literally said, let me go, but I guess my mission wasn't finished. So when I got anybody know me from Philly that may be watching this, know when I got shot, I said, let me go, I'm finished. But I guess my mission was not finished, so I was not prepared to go. You see what I'm saying? So when I leave, I have a list of videos. I have stuff that I've touched people. Even when I talk to people from the UK, they say, yo, brother, you touched me. You made me think. So what are you doing? So the next step is what? Prepare to get ready to go, because you never know when you're going to go. I have a bullet in my head. I don't know when I'm going to go. So it's what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? So I'm preparing. So when I go, he be pleased. Just as what it is. But listen, we only got a couple of minutes. We're going to go back into another Muhammad Ali's piece. What we got next, bro?
Got about if he hates some white people.
Who? Did we play that already?
I don't think so.
No, we played the one
Okay,
where he was at the podium. This is a looks like an in studio interview.
Okay, let's do that one then. Let's rock with that one. Then we're gonna come back and close out with some music.
All right, that's a bet.
Sonny, get up, the bell rung. Sonny said, my mama didn't raise no fool. I'm standing right here on my stool.
You got that poetry still going.
What was you going to say?
No, I was going to say that the next day, Ali, when everybody was saying the stereotype thing, here's a refreshing young man, we found out you were a Muslim, and people got scared.
I got bad all of a sudden, yeah.
People got scared, and you got bad all of a sudden, right, overnight.
I was a good boy when I was hollering, I am the greatest. I cannot be beat. I am pretty. I'm the king. He. I was a good boy. But when I said I'm a Muslim, my religion is Islam. What's wrong with that? You have 600 million Muslims on earth, and Muslim only mean one who submits entirely to the will of God, Allah, and Islam only means peace, entire submission to God, and we don't believe in forcing ourselves on
Do you hate
white
the
people.
whites?
No, sir, we don't hate
Why has that grown up, do you suppose, that the Muslims
this is
are a
false
hate
propaganda
white
to scare Negroes, to keep them from coming, because Negroes by nature love their enemy. They pray for those who use them. Negroes by nature don't hate nobody. And so if they can make people think that we're a hate group, that'll frighten them. But we don't hate white people. We know white people. We know the history of white people. For an example, if a tiger broke in this room now, I would beat you getting out. If a rattlesnake broke in here, I'd beat you getting off of this stage. I don't hate rattlesnakes. I don't hate tigers. I just know I can't get along with them. After learning the nature of the snake and the tiger, I don't want to try to eat with him or sleep with him because I know that he might bite me. So now
You don't think that we can ever get along? I think that was your point with Martin Luther King.
I know whites and blacks cannot get along. This is nature. This getting worse every day. The latest government fact-finding committee just said that things are becoming to be separate, just two societies, black and white. That's what we've been telling you, separation. Now the government admits that that's coming. White women have got gun clubs all over the country. Learn how to shoot at black targets. Understand they're making guns that'll shoot through brick walls just to get Negroes. And
Do you believe that?
I know it. I said Mayor Daley on Chicago, I think somebody ordered helicopters or something just with these rats and rotating machine guns on them, and they breeding dogs that just attack black people, all kind of spray and mist and banana slicking.
Well, what are you going to do now as one of the prominent black persons, and a
Teach
person
them
who
all.
can be a leader, and that you
I'm
look
not
up
going to be
to?
a leader.
What is your
but
role in this
I can't
perhaps
be a,
civil war, as people call
I
it?
can't be a leader, but I can tell them about the leader. All I can tell them is to join on to their own kind, accept their own kind, join on to the true religion, which is Islam, join on to the Muslim teachings, which is taught to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the honest black man preaching the truth to black people. Clean up your own neighborhoods, do something for yourself, quit begging to integrate, but beg to separate.
Ali?
Well, if number one, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the religion of Islam, has given me a beautiful name, Muhammad Ali, which is connecting me with some 56 Muslim countries. I have 56 government invitations. This is why Washington won't let me go to Japan to fight, because the prosecuting attorney there came to Houston and told the judge that if we let this man leave, he might not come back because he has 600 million Muslim brothers that would gladly make him a millionaire fugitive. So this is what it's done to me, where I used to try to get love of whites and beg to be with whites, and now I can go sit with kings in Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Pakistan, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia. This has taught me a knowledge of myself, taught me to love and respect my own people, taught me to marry and my own women, all great Negroes.
But you're obviously not uncomfortable with whites. I don't think you are.
I'm uncomfortable.
Are you
with
uncomfortable with me right now?
No, I'm comfortable. I'm real comfortable with you. Of course, I know how far to go with you. I'm not going to go home with you now and flirt with your daughter. I'm not going to try to push you out of your suburb. I integrate so far. See, we don't. That's why I like Governor Wallace. He tells the truth about things
like
that.
George Wallace?
Yes, sir. That truth he tells, we like. He tells the truth.
You believe that?
I see him telling the truth.
You don't believe he's been a tough influence in this country and a bad influence?
Well, I don't agree with everything nobody say, but I like what he say when he says that Negroes shouldn't force itself in the white neighborhood.
Listen, man. Yo, listen. Y'all heard it. He said we're not against such and such, but again, we know the nature of people, the nature of them.
Listen,
you see what I'm saying?
And real
Go
quick,
ahead.
real quick. The only difference between what Ali is saying and what Khalid Muhammad was saying was a whole lot of cuss words and a much more I don't give a fuck how you receive this attitude. So don't get it twisted.
Sometimes it's called for that though.
Right. And you got to know who you're dealing with, and just like what he said, I know how far to integrate with you. We have to integrate with these people on certain things because we don't have certain vehicles available to us because we haven't invested in them first. So you got to know what those limits are. But the problem is we start getting overboard. We start doing way too much, start integrating way too much with these people.
Way too much.
It's because we don't understand their history of misrepresenting themselves to every group of people in order to get what they want, and then we turn the table around on them.
Exactly.
So you gotta look at what you're doing with these people.
Listen, we're gonna do a follow-up to this again, man. I gotta do some more, man. Again, man, it's been real. Yo, we want y'all to hashtag this show out when we upload it. So I'm waiting for my brother to upload it. Hashtag this stuff out, the Sabir Bey Show. Hashtag out of darkness, man. We got to keep it pushing. Brother Chalky, I want to thank you, man. Safe travels on your way here, brother.
Indeed. I will be in Texas this time next week. So we're going to start us a whole new movement down there and really get it popping.
Yes, sir. Nina said, hey, yeah. Yes. I want to thank Karen McGee. I want to thank Johnny, my man Johnny in the studio, man. I'll be getting with you real soon. I want to thank my engineer, my brother Shaka Zulu. He's over there. I want to thank like Jessica Abraham Hogan, Alberto, Sal, the whole squad, the whole Sabir Bey Show team. And don't forget, August the 20th, brother Taj, Abdullah Bey, and myself will be in Houston, Texas. It's called the what I say? I was called it the Light Tour, something like that.
Something like that.
The three light tour or something like that. It's going to be bananas. So we're going to be busting up about etymology, history, law, the whole 9 yards. So stay tuned, y'all. Share this out to everybody. Again, I want to thank y'all. Thank the listening audience, everybody that's over the UK and the Caribbean for tuning in. Go ahead.
Also, before we get out of here, this is not my last show, but I am leaving California. So this is probably my last in-station studio.
In-station.
I want to thank you. I always tell you I appreciate you, but I appreciate you giving me this platform.
Yes, sir.
When I met you, we never knew that our relationship would grow into this, and I'm always appreciative of you and what you've allowed me to do, man. I appreciate you, fam.
Give thanks, man. So I want to thank everybody, man. I'll be talking with you soon. We're going to close out with some Osley Brothers. Listen to the lyrics, y'all. Peace and love till next week.
Peace.
Peace. What we got? Rocket.
Time is truly wasted. There's no guarantee.